I see you right now. Yes, you. Sitting there, holding that worry in your chest like a stone. You've been carrying it for so long, you almost forgot what it feels like to breathe without its weight. I know about the bills on your kitchen counter. I know about the conversation you're avoiding. I know about the dream you buried because someone told you it was impossible. And I'm here to tell you something that will change everything. I never left you. Not once. Not ever. You see, most people think I'm distant, some force far away, watching from behind clouds, judging from a throne nobody can reach. But that's not who I am. I am closer to you than your own heartbeat. I am in the morning light that touches your face before your alarm goes off. I am in the unexpected kindness of a stranger. I am in that quiet moment when you finally stop running and just sit still. I've been waiting for you to notice me there, in the ordinary moments you rush past, looking for something extraordinary. Let me tell you about a man I knew. We'll call him David. Just an ordinary name for an ordinary guy. David worked at a warehouse, loading boxes every day. Same routine, year after year. He felt invisible, like his life didn't matter. Every morning, he'd see guys in suits driving past in their fancy cars, and he'd think, that'll never be me. I'm just a warehouse worker. But here's what David didn't know. I was preparing him. Every box he lifted with care, every coworker he helped when they were struggling, every day he showed up, even when he was tired, I was building something inside him. Character, strength, faithfulness in small things. One day, the company needed someone to train new workers. They needed someone reliable, someone who knew the job inside out, someone others respected. Guess who they picked? David. Then he became a supervisor, then a manager. Not because he chased it, but because he was ready when the door opened. You see, David didn't realize that his warehouse wasn't his prison. It was his training ground. I was teaching him to lead by first teaching him to serve. Now, why am I telling you this? Because you're David. Maybe you're not in a warehouse. Maybe you're in a classroom, an office, a home raising children. Or maybe you're between jobs wondering if you'll ever catch a break. But I'm doing the same thing with you that I did with him. I'm preparing you. Every hard day is adding strength. Every challenge is teaching you something you'll need later. Every moment you think nothing is happening, something is happening. I am working. Here's what I need you to understand. Your current situation is not your final destination. Read that again slowly. Your bank account right now does not determine your future. Your job title does not define your worth. The rejection letter you got does not mean I rejected you. The relationship that ended does not mean you are unlovable. These are just chapters, not the whole story. And I write really good endings. But you have to stop doing something. Stop comparing your middle to someone else's highlight reel. You scroll through your phone and see people smiling on vacation, getting promotions, buying houses, getting engaged, and you think you're behind. You think you missed your chance. You think you did something wrong. Let me tell you the truth. You are exactly where you need to be, learning exactly what you need to learn for exactly what's coming next. That person you're envying, they went through their own valley to get to their mountain. You're seeing the victory, not the battle. Stop measuring your worth by their timeline. I've noticed something about you. You're really good at remembering your failures, but terrible at remembering your victories. You can list every mistake you made last year, but you forget that you survived 100% of your worst days. You're still here. You're still breathing. You're still trying. That's not weakness. That's courage. That's strength. That's you refusing to give up, even when giving up would be easier. Let me remind you of something. You've been through hard times before, and you made it through. Remember that time you thought you couldn't handle it, but you did. Remember when you thought it was over, but it wasn't. Remember when you felt alone, but you weren't. I was there. I am always there. And if I brought you through that, why do you think this time will be different? I'm the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. My track record with you is perfect. I have never failed you. Not once. I want to shift your perspective for a moment. You've been asking me to change your situation, but what if I'm trying to change you instead? What if the very thing you want me to remove is actually the thing I'm using to strengthen you? What if the wait isn't punishment? It's preparation. What if the closed door isn't rejection? It's protection. What if I'm not ignoring your prayers? I'm upgrading my answer. Think about it like this. Imagine you're a gardener and you plant a seed. That seed sits in dark soil, buried, invisible. If the seed could think, it might feel abandoned, forgotten, stuck. But you, the gardener, know something the seed doesn't. You know the darkness is necessary. You know the waiting is part of the process. You know that what looks like nothing is actually everything. Roots are growing down deep, getting strong enough to support what will eventually grow up and become visible. The seed isn't buried, it's planted, and there's a massive difference. You are that seed right now. What feels like darkness is actually the soil you need to grow in. What feels like pressure is actually what will break you open, so something new can emerge. What feels like waiting is actually becoming. You're not stuck, you're rooted. And soon, very soon, what's been happening underground is going to break through the surface, and everyone will see it. But right now, in this moment, I need you to trust the process. Trust me. Trust that I know what I'm doing. Now let's talk about something uncomfortable. Your fear. I know you're afraid. You're afraid you'll fail. You're afraid you'll succeed and then lose it. You're afraid people will see the real you and walk away. You're afraid of being alone, but you're also afraid of letting people too close. You're afraid you're not enough, but you're also afraid of wanting too much. Fear has been whispering lies to you for so long. You started believing they were facts. But here's the thing about fear. It's a terrible prophet. It predicts disaster that never comes. It sees danger where there's only opportunity. It keeps you small when I created you for expansion. Fear wants you to play it safe, to stay comfortable, to never risk, to never try, to never jump. But I want you to know this. Everything you want is on the other side of the fear you're refusing to face. Let me tell you about Sarah. Sarah wanted to start her own business for years. She had the idea, the skills, the vision. But every time she got close to starting, fear would flood in. What if it fails? What if people laugh? What if I lose money? What if I'm not good enough? So she stayed at her job, a job she hated, that drained her, that made her feel like she was dying slowly. She told herself she was being responsible, being smart, but really, she was being afraid. Then one day, her company downsized, and she got laid off. Suddenly, the safe option disappeared. She had a choice: find another job she'd hate, or finally bet on herself. With no other option, she started the business. And guess what? It was hard, really hard. There were months she barely made rent. There were moments she doubted everything. But she kept going, and slowly, it started to work. Clients came, money came, confidence came. 2 years later, she was making more than she ever did at her old job, and she woke up excited about her life. She looked back and realized something. Getting laid off was the best thing that ever happened to her, because it forced her to do what fear prevented her from doing: jump. Now here's my question for you. What if I'm removing your safe option right now because I'm trying to get you to finally jump? What if the discomfort you're feeling is actually my hand on your back, pushing you toward the life you were too afraid to choose? What if the closed door isn't my rejection of your prayer? It's my answer. Sometimes I shut the wrong door firmly, so you'll stop trying to open it and finally turn around and see the right door that's been standing wide open behind you this whole time. You've been praying for change, but you're terrified of change. You can't have both. You can't ask me to move you forward and then dig your heels into where you are. You can't ask for something new and clutch the old with both fists. You can't ask for growth and resist every uncomfortable moment. Growth is uncomfortable. Change is messy. Progress requires letting go. And I need you to release what you're holding so tightly, so I can give you what I've been holding for you. Here's a truth that might sting a little. Sometimes you're your own biggest obstacle. Not the economy, not your past, not other people. You're the one saying no when I'm saying yes. You're the one saying not yet when I'm saying now. You're the one saying I can't when I'm saying you already can. You just don't believe it yet. I gave you everything you need. I put gifts inside you before you were born. I wired you for purpose. I designed you for impact. But you won't step into it because you're waiting to feel ready. Newsflash, you'll never feel ready. Nobody feels ready. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's moving forward with fear in the passenger seat. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine you're standing at the edge of a river. On the other side is everything you've been praying for. The life you want, the peace you crave, the purpose you're searching for. But the river is wide, and the water is rushing, and you can't see the bottom. Fear says, it's too dangerous. You'll drown. Stay on this side where it's safe. But I'm standing on the other side, calling your name, saying, take one step. Just one. I'll meet you in the water. I'll hold you up. I'll get you to the other side. You have to decide. Will you stay on the side of fear, or will you step into the water of faith? Faith isn't believing I can. Faith is trusting I will. It's not hoping I might show up. It's knowing I'm already there. It's taking the step before you see the path. It's saying yes before you have all the answers. It's moving forward when logic says stay put. Faith doesn't make sense to fear. It doesn't compute to doubt. But faith is what activates my power in your life. Without it, you'll stay stuck. With it, you'll see miracles. Now, let's address something else, your past. I know you think your past disqualifies you. The mistakes you made, the things you're ashamed of, the regrets that keep you up at night. You think I'm disappointed in you. You think I'm keeping score. You think you have to earn your way back. But that's not how I work. I'm not keeping a record of wrongs. I'm not holding grudges. I'm not waiting for you to be perfect before I use you. In fact, some of my best work has been done through people who messed up royally. Think about the people in history I used. Liars, cheaters, murderers, cowards, doubters, deniers. I used them all, not because they were perfect, but because they were willing. Not because they had it all together, but because they were honest about being broken. Your mess doesn't disqualify you. It equips you. Your story, even the ugly parts, is part of your message. The thing you're most ashamed of might be the exact thing that helps someone else survive theirs. So stop hiding. Stop shrinking. Stop apologizing for taking up space. Stop waiting for permission to step into the life I've been preparing for you. You are not an accident. You are not a mistake. You're not too much or not enough. You are exactly who I created you to be, flaws and all. And I'm not finished with you yet. Not even close. Let's talk about relationships for a minute, because I know this weighs on you. Maybe you're lonely. Maybe you feel unseen. Maybe you're surrounded by people, but still feel invisible. Maybe you've been hurt so many times you've built walls so high, nobody can climb them anymore. And honestly, you're exhausted from keeping people out, but terrified of letting anyone in. Here's what I want you to know. I see you. Fully. Completely. Every hidden part, every secret wound, every fear you've never said out loud. I see it all, and I'm not going anywhere. You don't have to perform for me. You don't have to pretend. You don't have to filter your mess or edit your story. I loved you before you did anything right, and I'll love you even when you do everything wrong. My love isn't based on your behavior. It's based on my character, and my character doesn't change. I know you've been hurt by people who said they'd stay but left. People who promised forever but gave you temporary. People who saw your value but chose to walk away anyway. And now you're scared. Scared to trust again. Scared to hope again. Scared to love again. But here's what I need you to understand. Their leaving says nothing about your worth and everything about their readiness. Some people aren't meant to stay. Some people are just teachers. They come into your life to teach you a lesson. And once the lesson is learned, the season ends. It hurts, but it's necessary. Let me tell you about Mark. Mark fell in love with someone who didn't love him back. He tried everything. Changed himself, bent over backward, gave and gave and gave until he was empty. But it was never enough. She left, and Mark was devastated. He felt worthless, rejected, broken. He spent 2 years convinced he'd never find love again. But here's what Mark didn't see. I was protecting him. That relationship wasn't right, even though it felt right. If she had stayed, Mark would have stayed stuck, small, sacrificing himself to keep someone who wasn't supposed to be kept. Her leaving created space. And in that space, Mark healed. He grew. He became the man he was always meant to be. And then, when he least expected it, he met someone who loved him exactly as he was. Someone who didn't need him to shrink to make her comfortable. Someone who celebrated him, not tolerated him. And Mark looked back and realized the heartbreak was a setup for the real thing. So if you're in heartbreak right now, hear this. It's not the end. It's a setup. I'm clearing space for something better. I'm removing what wasn't aligned with your future. I'm closing a door that would have led you somewhere you were never meant to go. Trust the process. Trust my timing. Trust that what's meant for you won't miss you, and what missed you wasn't meant for you. But also, let's be honest, sometimes the problem isn't that the right people haven't shown up. Sometimes the problem is you're still making space for the wrong ones. You're holding on to toxic relationships because you're afraid of being alone. You're tolerating disrespect because you think it's better than nothing. You're staying where you've outgrown because leaving feels scarier than staying stuck. But I can't bring the new into your life if your hands are full of the old. You have to release what doesn't serve you to receive what I have for you. And here's another truth. Sometimes the loneliness you feel isn't about lacking people. It's about lacking connection with yourself and with me. You've been so busy looking for someone to complete you, you forgot you're already whole. You've been searching for validation from people who can't even validate themselves. You've been waiting for someone to see your worth when I've been screaming it at you this entire time. You are valuable because I made you, not because someone recognized it. What if this season of solitude isn't punishment, but preparation? What if I'm teaching you to be whole on your own, so that when the right person comes, you're not looking for them to fill a void. You're inviting them to share an overflow. What if I'm teaching you that being alone and being lonely are two different things? You can be surrounded by people and feel lonely, or you can be alone and feel completely at peace because you've learned to find your worth in me, not in the validation of others. Now let's shift gears. Let's talk about your purpose, because I know you're wondering, why am I here? What's the point of all this? You've been searching for some grand, cosmic answer, some big mission statement, but you're missing it. Purpose isn't always loud. It's not always a stage or a platform or applause. Sometimes purpose is quiet. Sometimes it's showing up for your kids when you're exhausted. Sometimes it's encouraging a coworker who's struggling. Sometimes it's choosing kindness when anger would be easier. Sometimes it's just not giving up when everything in you wants to quit. You think purpose has to be big, but I work through small, faithful actions. You think you need to change the world, but what if your world is just one person who needs exactly what you have to offer today? You think you're insignificant, but every act of love, every moment of courage, every decision to keep going, it all matters. It all counts. It's all part of something much bigger than you can see right now. Here's what I want you to get. You don't find your purpose, you live it. Every day, in every choice, in every moment you choose love over fear, faith over doubt, hope over despair. Your purpose isn't out there somewhere, waiting to be discovered. It's in you, waiting to be activated. And it activates when you stop waiting for the perfect moment and start acting in this moment. Let me tell you about Lisa. Lisa was a nurse. She didn't cure cancer. She didn't invent anything. She didn't become famous. But every day, she showed up to the hospital and treated her patients like they mattered. She held hands. She listened. She made people feel seen in their most vulnerable moments. One day, an elderly man was dying. No family, no visitors, just Lisa. She sat with him, held his hand, and talked to him until he took his last breath. He didn't die alone because of her. That was her purpose that day. Small, maybe, insignificant. Not to him, not to me. Your purpose isn't measured by the number of people who see it. It's measured by the faithfulness with which you live it. Stop waiting for a big moment. Be faithful in this moment. All right, we're in the home stretch now, and want to talk about something crucial, your future. I know you're worried about it. You lie awake at night, wondering if things will work out. You make plans and backup plans and backup plans for the backup plans because you're terrified of the unknown. You want guarantees. You want certainty. You want a map with every step clearly marked. But that's not how faith works. That's not how I work. I need you to trust me with your future the same way you trust a pilot with your flight. When you get on a plane, you don't know the pilot. You don't know the route. You don't know the weather conditions. But you sit down, buckle up, and trust that the pilot will get you where you need to go. You trust their training, their experience, their ability to navigate. That's what I'm asking from you. Trust me. I know the route. I know the weather ahead. I know how to navigate the storms. I've never crashed. My record is flawless. Trust me. But trust requires letting go of control, and I know that's hard for you. You like to have your hands on the wheel. You like to know what's coming. You like to manage, plan, organize, control. But here's the problem. You can't control everything, and trying to is exhausting you. It's robbing you of peace. It's stealing your joy. It's keeping you in constant anxiety because no matter how much you try to control, life still happens in ways you didn't predict. What if you release the need to control and embrace the freedom of trust? What if you stopped trying to figure everything out and just took the next step I'm showing you? What if you let go of the timeline you created and surrendered to mine? What if you stopped forcing doors open and started walking through the ones I'm opening? Let me tell you about James. James was a planner. Every detail of his life was mapped out. He knew exactly where he'd be in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. But then life happened. He got sick, lost his job, plans fell apart. He felt like his life was over. But here's what James didn't know. His plan was too small. My plan was bigger. In the rubble of his broken plans, I was building something new, something better, something he never would have chosen, but exactly what he needed. He went back to school, discovered a passion he didn't know he had, started a career he loves, met people who changed his life. And now, looking back, he's grateful his plans fell apart because mine were so much better. Your plans are too small. Your vision is limited. You're thinking from where you are. I'm thinking from where you're going. You're seeing what is. I'm seeing what will be. You're focused on the problem. I'm already working on the solution. Trust me, my plan is better than yours. Always. Now, I want to address something important, gratitude. You've been so focused on what you don't have. You've forgotten to appreciate what you do have. You're so busy chasing the next thing. You're missing the beauty of this thing. You're so worried about the future. You're not present in the now. And the now is where I am. The now is where life is happening. The now is what you'll miss when it's gone. Stop for a second. Look around. You woke up today. That's a gift. You have air in your lungs. That's a miracle. You have people who love you, even if imperfectly. That's a blessing. You have another chance, another day, another opportunity to start fresh. That's grace. Stop taking it for granted. Stop rushing past it. Stop waiting for some future moment to finally be happy. Be happy now. Be grateful now. Be present now. Gratitude changes everything. It shifts your focus from lack to abundance. It turns what you have into enough. It opens your eyes to see my hand in the small, everyday moments you've been overlooking. When you're grateful, you're happy. When you're happy, you're at peace. And when you're at peace, you can finally hear me clearly. Here's a challenge. Every day, find 3 things to be grateful for. Not big things, small things. The coffee that tasted good, the sun that warmed your face, the stranger who smiled at you, the song that came on at the right moment, the parking spot that opened up, the friend who texted at the exact right time. Train your mind to see my goodness everywhere, because it is everywhere. You've just been too focused on the bad to notice. Let's talk about legacy for a moment. You're going to leave something behind when you're gone. The question is, what? Will people remember your kindness or your criticism? Your generosity or your greed? Your faith or your fear? Your love or your bitterness? You're writing your story right now, every day, in every choice. What story are you telling? I want you to live in such a way that when people think of you, they think of love. They think of hope. They think of me. Not because you were perfect, but because you were real. Not because you never fell, but because you always got back up. Not because life was easy, but because you chose faith even when it was hard. You have more influence than you realize. Your words matter. Your actions matter. Your attitude matters. People are watching. Your kids, your coworkers, your friends, strangers you'll never even know. And whether you realize it or not, you're teaching them how to live. You're showing them what faith looks like. You're modeling how to handle hardship. You're demonstrating what love in action really means. Don't waste that. Don't take it lightly. You're planting seeds every single day. What kind of harvest do you want to grow? Here's the final thing I want to leave you with. I am so proud of you. I know you don't feel like you've done enough. I know you think you've failed too many times. I know you're exhausted and feel like you're barely holding it together. But I see you. I see your effort. I see your heart. I see you trying when no one else notices. I see you showing up when it would be easier to quit. I see your faithfulness in the small, unseen moments. And I'm proud of you. You are not behind. You are not failing. You are not forgotten. You are exactly where you need to be, becoming exactly who you're meant to be in perfect timing. Trust the process. Trust me. Keep going. Keep believing. Keep hoping. Keep loving. Keep trying. Because I'm not done with you yet. Your story is still being written, and the best chapters are still ahead. You are loved. You are seen. You are valued. You are mine. And I will never, ever let you go. Now, take a deep breath. Let that sink in, and walk forward into your life with confidence, knowing that I'm with you every single step of the way. If this message resonates with you, like this video, subscribe for more encouragement, and share it with someone who needs to hear it today. Drop a comment below sharing what spoke to you most. Your story matters and could encourage someone else. Remember, you are loved. You are seen. You are valuable. And your story isn't over yet. The best chapters are still ahead.